device. As we get to the next two spots, I will be going through one-on-ones and explaining these devices a lot further. This is just kind of a quick intro so everybody knows what everybody's using. So first thing, thermal imaging. Why would I want thermal imaging inside of a ghost hunt?
Because they sometimes show up as cold spots.
Right, exactly. We're looking for cold spots, literal. So with this particular guy, we should be able to see me in there, right? I'm the red, orange, and yellow guy. Oh, this is going to work tonight. I'm the hottest thing inside the video. So, bachelorette parties, that kills, by the way. So, the wife hates that line, but when I have all ladies, I got to play it up. But we're looking for blue and black. Like, that's the whole point. I do that laughter piece on purpose so you remember you're watching for blue and black. I also have this guy set up to where there's a blue dot bouncing around the screen. The blue dot is showing you exactly where the cold spot is in the frame at that particular moment, the coldest spot. So it's going to help guide your eye when you do get your video back. Now, we're going to do a few starts and stops with this. We'll probably capture about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes worth of video total. Just because as great as the hardware is, the software sucks. So the software will lose footage if we record for too long. This is a FLIR camera, which is a legit camera. Like, firemen use this to actually help save people, but the software for it is just, it can be very touch and go. So now that we kind of have the intro on how to actually watch the video, I'm going to... We are in a space, obviously, where there's going to be parked cars. I will also let everybody know, like, this is the only entrance and exit for vehicles, so just be mindful of people coming in and out. This is actually not too bad for a Friday night. Normally, every spot is taken up in here, and it kind of limits our space to investigate. So welcome to your first space. It's a parking lot. In case you guys didn't notice, congratulations, you all made it. But this is one of those weird spots that the other tours won't go to, but it is very important to our history. Not just as Charleston or South Carolina, but the country. So it's a pretty big deal.
Yes.
Wasn't me.
Appropriate for the
I got jokes too, right?
Sorry.
So whenever you want to see the full list, by the way, just tap the little white square right next to it.
Okay.
And it will show you everything you've had so far. Okay. So at times I'll stop and I'll say, hey, let me take a look at your word list. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. And then you just circle back. I don't see anything relevant besides somebody being gassy at this point. So, but again, it wasn't me. So this space used to be something, but for all you communication device people, which is everybody, I am not going to be giving you questions like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the big red barn. You're going to get your answers from your spirit boxes, and yes, I'm going to withhold information on purpose. So that way I'm not putting any messages in the back of your brain. Is that fair? Again, it's legitimate paranormal investigation. It's what y'all signed up for. You want me to lie and hold things back, I'm going to do it. So I'm not going to lie, though, because I promise that much. But anyway, so what is this place? This place used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney Mansion. Their mansion sat in the front of this space, facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant over there and came all the way across. And we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. So who the heck were these people? They had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. Not to mention Eliza's husband was named Charles. That's 3 Chucks. So now you should all see why I look for a secondary verifier. I don't know which Chuck we're chatting with. So it's a matter of like finding those clues relevant to that specific Charles, but we're going to be focused on Eliza here. But if I don't bring up all 3 Charleses, it'll come through somehow in an angry manner, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to piss off the ghost. So the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us, but I hate politics. We're going to move on to Eliza, if everybody's cool with that. I figured as much. Good. Silence is compliance. So, Eliza Pinckney, who the heck is this woman? She married Charles at a young age according to today's standards, not the colonial times that she came from. So when you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, you're not going to hear numbers like 12 and 14, right? Just kind of keep that in the back of your brain. The only reason I bring this up is because sometimes we get Charles's age, which was over double Eliza's when they married. Kind of a creepy age gap in the 1700s, but definitely a creepy age gap now as well. So kind of put that, as a kind of a sub-thought. But she married him because her father, who was over in England, where she's from, thought he was dying. And he's trying to bring all of his kids home one last time. Eliza didn't think he was dying. 1744, so she gets married. You don't get married in 1744 for a green card. We're not even a country. So she did marry him out of love, and no, there was no foul play, because everybody likes to poke that bear. That's always fun. But at the same time, she was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her more gifts, apologetically, from England to the space we're standing right now. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. Indigo is a plant that makes our blue jeans blue. That's how we use it today. However, Eliza didn't know what to do with them when she got them. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep them cultivated. It's not always hot here. You can see the big temperature drop from yesterday to today. It's not always hot here. Once she experimented with it and she figured it all out, she moved it to another plantation just south of here by the Stono River, and then gets a hold of her father for more contacts, because we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. It took a long time to figure all that out, but she got it done. So that's her business and the boring stuff. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are all here. I usually kind of go through a series of questions with each different style of spirit box. So I guess we'll start with yours. Now the Ouija board is kind of a cherry pick. We never know what's going to come through there yet. I don't really have a set of questions designed for that yet because I don't know what it normally gives us yet. I don't have enough data behind it over the past 4 weeks. But your other spirit box, of course, I want you to focus on the ages at marriage. Like that would be a good one. But Eliza, the one we just spoke about, was the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. So now we have 3 Charleses and 2 Elizas. The first wife died in January of 1744. 5 months later, he married the one we just talked about in May of 1744. Ironically, both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. See which Eliza we're dealing with. It's usually a good start because I've seen both answers and the age numbers questions come up on your spirit box as well. But you're using 2 different communication devices tonight, so it should be interesting. With yours, I want you to focus on Eliza's death. So yours can give us a lot of things all at one time. So with yours, how old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, what president was a pallbearer at her funeral. Obviously, none of those are yes/no questions. So kind of keep that in the back of your brain. If you start getting answers, or if you start getting a lack of answers, I'm going to be bouncing around with all 4 of you to kind of show you more about what's going on. Your spirit box, the one that you're going to unmute here in just a moment, gives us like 1 to 2 syllable answers at a time. It's not going to be long phrases like this one over here. So with that one, there's a couple of things I want you to focus on. First off, the mansion's not here. You can ask what happened to it, and if we get an answer, when did that happen? We're looking obviously for a very specific date. These are very specific numbers. Sometimes we'll get it all in numeral format, but sometimes we get them in the actual month, day, and then the year. We never know what's actually going to pop up out of that guy. The other thing you can focus on are the children. So the children, I already told you there's at least 1. His name was Charles. There's more. You can ask how many boys, how many girls, what their names were. But that's pretty much it when it comes to the kids because there's a tragedy there. If you poke the bear with the tragedy, all activity stops. Have you seen any, you have the number piece too. Have you seen any numbers pop up out of there?
It went to 1 and then it kind of went away.
Okay. So up to 1.1 is natural from the earth, from where we stand. So that's why I normally go straight to 2.5 because that would be the second green dot on the blinky light one that they use on TV. So that kind of gives me a barometer of like back and forth. Because a lot of times if there's a 20 reading on the blinky light one, you should have like a 12 to 15. So again, theirs is way more sensitive, or that one's more accurate, I should say. That's why I like to use it. So with that guy, I'm actually going to have you hand over the spirit box while I show you how to use the Melmeter. So that way she can do some recording and get, used to, nope, the opposite one. There you go. So the mute button is going to be on the right-hand side. Yeah. Yep, and it's the only button there. So I'm going to have, what you got?
Happy marriage? Oh, very cool.
It was a happy marriage. Charles was her best friend, and she spoke about him often. Wow. Doesn't get any better than that. Well, it does, but you get what I'm saying. That's a good thing. All right, Eliza. I appreciate you so far. Give us some more. All right, so the 3 of you, I'm going to have you spread out. We don't go in between vehicles. We don't film vehicles. I think we got the gist. You all seem like the So let's have some fun. I'm actually going to teach her how to use that REM pod. So I'm going to keep her back for a few minutes. But I'm going to be bouncing around with all of you taking more notes. So go have some fun with that different type of spirit box because I'm sure that's not the one they gave you at the other place, was it?
I didn't have one.
Oh. Well,
I had a digital camera and a digital voice recorder.
Oh, you guys had the spirit box at your investigation. Gotcha.
Some of them did, yeah. We did not.
They were probably using an older style too. It was really small. A little ball speaker.
And the EMF was just the lights. Yeah, and that's what we had.
Yeah, real cheap equipment. We're not dealing with that stuff tonight. So, all right, let's get to work on what I can show you about this guy. So now that you've seen some numbers move around, which is good, just so you know on average, it's like
Gotta keep one of you girls in my screen. How many kids did you have? choice did you have?
Getting anything out of that guy yet? Nothing. It's not easy to do.
He's like, you guys should be really following me. See that? Because if it comes in different colors, then I can reset it. And then I can say, hey, turn this blue, or show me a blue light.
Oh.
He said, so they should really be following you because you'll have the...
It's hard for me to film stuff because I can't film people or cars.
It's 7. 15. That this one's a 15.
15?
Yeah.
What?
I said, can you show me a blue light? Yellow light.
Yeah. I'm an architect.
What did this thing here do? Just supposed to catch sounds or something?
Yeah. It's supposed to show you the difference in the white noise, I think it was.
I don't remember. So what noise am I listening for? No noise or? I don't remember what he
It
said.
says something about the AM and FM And then it tries to filter through the white noise through that. I don't know exactly how that works. Something about like this area.
What? You want me to hold that in there? Yeah. My fingers are kind of
It's difficult, I will say that. But it was like familiar with it almost.
Oh.
Eliminate that test. And then 100 years. So, something about great. Oh. So, okay. Sorry. I didn't even think about that. I was assuming it didn't have anything. But yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
It's not like I can tell you. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, plenty. Right here. Yeah. It went over there was 17. And over here they're at.
So with the camera pieces, it's not always I need to follow up with you because a lot of this is going to be found the next day because I'm going to get it up on YouTube so you guys can watch it however you want to, TV, computer, tablet, whatnot. So when I'm watching it, I can just, spot checking it. I have a big computer screen, so that way I can kind of see everything. So if it just seems like I'm following up with the other 3 more so,
Oh, yeah, you're fine.
I don't want you to feel like I was leaving you out.
No, you're
but
fine.
You're like the best camera person ever. Like that's going to be the best video to watch.
I'm trying. It's like really hard not to get the cars.
Oh, well, when people are going to their cars.
Oh, don't get them right
Yeah,
there.
because
Okay.
a lot of people will walk around like everybody else is doing,
Right.
but real nice and slow, so just don't make it look like you're filming cars. Because if I was a car thief, this would be my first tool, because I know exactly how long these cars have been here, based on their heat signature of their
Sure.
motor. Because again, this would be the perfect tool for that.
Sure.
But that's part of the reason, and trust me, I've had people coming out screaming, "Why are you filming my car? That looks like some kind of thermal something." I'm like, oh jeez, let's just go.
Crazy.
Yeah, it happens. How's that spirit box coming? Are you hearing anything out of it?
A little bit of noise.
Okay. Again, when that one shouts out at you, it shouts out.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear. And did you get anything out of it when you had it?
Not really. Just a lot of static.
The funny thing is, that's probably my most accurate spirit box. So
Really?
when we do get something out of it, it's crystal.
Is it like a word you would hear them like?
Plain as day. So
Okay.
it's either going to be a radio DJ, and I have caught a lot of
I
disembodied
did hear
voices.
some. It was music, but I didn't hear like no voices or whatever.
Yeah, so DJs and song lyrics, even if it comes up with a phrase out of it that makes sense to the location, I can't discount it as it's not anything.
Right.
Because again, being out here 7 nights a week, I see common things that pop up, and they're not the same radio things that you hear on a normal basis, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
Nothing
Nothing stood
jumped
out.
out. No.
yeah. I'm not saying you're going to hear the name Eliza directly, but you might hear the name Eliza directly as a disembodied voice. We're going to move out of this area because she's going to back the car up. Try to stick over to this side. She's going to back up.
Nico, come this way. She's gonna back up. He just has
Any
to
other
stick
numbers
around
popping
here.
up out of there?
1955. Right before that, well,
What's that
sometime
one?
before that, it sounded like
How is that one?
That one, see this top number?
Yeah.
You want that to be, like, it went to 45, and he said 2.5 is where, so when it's like that, I can hit reset, and then I can say, Eliza, show me a blue light, or Eliza,
Yes.
show me a red light.
It's vague, but yes.
When it flashes like
You
that,
have the word no on there?
that sometimes means something can be
That's part of the
passed by.
bullshit.
But, like, if I move a lot, it can be me.
Huh.
All I hear through this is music.
He said, "Listen for words."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I first heard it.
That's yeah.
It
I
gets
didn't hear
more
anything a
obvious.
while ago. I heard music, but I didn't hear no
See, I
distinguishing.
can't understand the
I
word
couldn't
anything.
either.
I'm not, I didn't write the dictionary that's in there.
Are they making that first?
a long period of time, nothing changed.
The way this guy actually works is it's sweeping through the FM stations right here. There's 9,000 words in the dictionary. Recognize something, it goes on. The same principle as how she's listening. The same thing we're doing with all three. Beginner methods.
Can't understand.
Just get ready to do it again.
All right, words, numbers, letters, anything we got going on over here?
I'm trying to make out the words to the song or whatever we can.
Goes so quick, I can't.
It's usually your first instinct. Nothing coming out of yours
I
either?
keep getting the number 1. Repeatedly.
I don't suppose you heard the word president in there, did you?
I might have actually. I could have. I did tell her to repeat stuff, so I was like, repeat stuff, because sometimes I miss it.
Any other letters, words that I need to know?
Guns.
Guns.
Just an H right now for letters.
H. Yeah, I got nothing. Unless Nico, what's your
An
last
H.
name?
Pageant.
Okay. It's not her. Sometimes you guys bring people with you. You never know. What was that?
Sound like an M.
Speak or speak?
Oh, that was something. I don't know what it said. That was a creepy voice.
Any other words past guns?
Page. Page.
Wow. So, you said Pageant was her last name?
Pageant. P-A-D-G-E-T. That's what I said when I saw Paige. I was like, getting close.
Yeah. And then there's the NH in there. So it's just weird.
NHRVK.
Yeah, a bunch of garbage.
Bunch of garbage again.
And no other numbers past 17. All right, I'm gonna call it on this one. Let's come over, stroke over to the wall closer so I can.
Mom? She thinks she heard mom.
Mom,
Mom.
take it. Nico, you got anything?
Is there somebody named Bob? Something that sounds like Bob? And then either Ryan or Orion.
I'd be Orion.
Could be Orion. And then when we were walking by High Cotton, it was almost like something said, pay attention.
Orion might be. Let's go ahead and put that one on mute because we are in a quiet area. So we're definitely filming, so it's a good job jumping on that. We're going to be focused on a couple of things in here. We're not going to be using the motion sensor in here, but we're going to look at your numbers here in just a minute. So your device is important here. Anything pop up craziness on either of your devices?
Closest thing was passing some stairs where the candy store is.
Yep.
It said on stairs.
But it does give us things about that shop from time to time. Like it'll say candy, it'll say sweet, and we've gotten things about that in the past.
On stairs and then nothing hurt. Nothing and then hurt.
Okay.
And storm. But
Yeah,
on
definitely
stairs
knows
was
not
storm.
Yeah. Interesting. That particular corner where Fried Church Restaurant is in the candy shop, that actually belonged to a descendant of Eliza Pinckney, Harriet Pinckney, not a daughter. Would have been a great niece, but she actually turned it into a church called the Redeemer. And she did that for any of the sailors that were coming in, so that way all different walks of religious life could come in to worship in one space. So again, that was actually, if you look at the front of Fried Church Restaurant, the Redeemer is still there in the brick. So that's what that means. So I do go to the candy shop every single night because that's my restroom break before I go to meet you, because my parking space is by the end. So again, we get things about that candy shop all the time. So it's very interesting. So when we crossed the last crosswalk coming over, that's where the original Charlestown Wall used to be. So we went up Cumberland Street, and the other part was across the street on East Bay from where we were walking going down south. So you're inside the original Charlestown walls, which means you're standing on one of the first streets we ever had. Obviously, other tourists don't come down here, and if they do, they tell some kind of crazy witchy brew hag story. I actually get into the history of the location because it's way more important. People used to live here. These two giant buildings, they weren't here. Little tiny shotgun houses. I have the full list of residents of every person that's ever lived down here. You guys keep giving me the same two names every 6 to 7 weeks. Right now, we're on week 5 of that loop. I wasn't expecting those two names to come through, but I'm definitely going to be looking into Bob O'Ryan, whoever the hell that guy is. He's probably some political candidate that I don't want to know anything about. But at any rate, the two names you guys normally give me are Benjamin and John. Now, and it's very common that they come through every 6 to 7 weeks. Here's why that happens. These bricks, the ones you're standing on, they've been here since 1739 that we know of. Historians can't even get it right. They don't even have an exact date of when they were laid. However, these things are made of granite. Any natural stone that's been in the same place, say a few hundred years, is said to hang on to the consciousness of the memories of the things that occurred here. It's called the stone tape theory. I didn't even put that together until I was already touring this location for 2 years, going, why the hell am I getting these same names on a loop? So I looked into the loop to see how long it was. It's about 6 to 7 weeks long. I still can't pinpoint it, but I can't line it up with a moon phase or anything just yet, but I'm sure I will over time. But again, this is week 5. We're getting close to it. But the crazy thing is that these bricks, being made of granite, should not give us any kind of EMF reading from the millimeter. So if you want to pick any brick you want and lay your device right on the ground, any dry brick, see if you get a reading out of it. We've seen it go all the way up to 15 in this location. Again, only during that 6 to 7 week loop. I'm still testing it nightly just to see if anything's occurring. We're going to leave it there for a minute. Do you have any numbers right now? Did it spike at all?
2.0.
There's something coming out of it. Up to 1.1 is natural from the earth. So anything above that, I'm like, oh, we actually have something. So try another brick just to kind of, any other brick. Difference made. There you go. now we have a 0.4. Alright, so we're probably not going to see much more than that 2. That 2 was probably a spike. But again, we're getting close to it, so I probably won't expect things to come out of it until, say, next week. But before people lived here, the Freemasons had a Masonic Lodge here, which is where the alley gets its name from, Lodge Alley. So this is also the Lodge Alley Inn behind you. We do get terms wrapped around the Freemasons here. Not to get into conspiracy theories here, but on the red spirit box, because I do use 2 of those on a full group of 10 to 11 people, the word Illuminati will be heard as soon as we will start walking down the alley before I even mention Freemasons. First off, the funny thing is you guys are listening to radio stations. Who the hell's talking about the Illuminati on the radio? That's my first question. Second, why are we only hearing it here? We also get terms like Founding Fathers, we'll get symbols, all of these things relative to the Illuminati. Now again, I can't explain it, I don't go into details, but I did prove all 6 times that the Illuminati term showed up last year and the 3 times so far this year. So again, this is shit I can't make up. And I was like, why the hell am I getting stuff like this? Again, I looked into it, Freemasons. So that would be the whole reason. It was in the same report of where he got the list of residents from. So again, this isn't a space where we're going to sit around and ask questions and hope. We kind of tested, the granite around us. The stone tape theory it's been going on for hundreds of years, but it hasn't been fully proven yet. So again, as I'm doing all of these experiments with you guys on a nightly basis, I'm hoping that there's going to be a pattern. And I don't know any other paranormal investigator that investigates 7 nights a week unless there's a little bit of rain to scare away the equipment. So again, it's one of those pieces where I probably have more hours doing this than any TV show host that you guys have ever seen. So it's just, we're going to prove something completely, utterly unmistakable out of what we're doing out here. The next space we're going to go to, it's another alley. However, I can't take you all the way through it like what we're doing here. I've been kicked out. So we're going to stay to the one side of it where we're allowed to go. We're not even going to go near the other tours and that kind of mentality. And the reason why is because it's residential on the opposite side. So we're only allowed to go down halfway. So I kind of let the other tours have it because it's not fair for my groups of 10 to go around their groups of 20 to 60 on a busy season. So I kind of got out of the habit of even going near the alley. I would tell the story outside of it. But with these smaller groups this past couple of weeks, as the season's slowing down, I'm like, yeah, we're going to sneak in from time to time and see what happens. Hopefully the neighbor doesn't see me, because that was 2 years ago.
So is this the tree I'm looking at here? That look creepy.
Yes.
It's like 2 eyeballs.
It does.
They look really creepy.
So with these black things in the background, I usually look for them to move or to start taking shape into a person. So the things that I've caught with that video, it's normally all cold, normally all blue, and nothing, I've gotten things that are black on there, but it's normally in a contrast of somebody being in the video. There's always a blue person that I'm like, that's not a real person. That's obviously some kind of entity walking towards us. And then I flash back and check the other cameras if I'm running them that night and kind of see where the things are going. But yes, those are definitely trees.
Okay, I was like...
So just to kind of prove a point, if everybody wants to take a look, look over her shoulder so you can see what she's seeing, I'll make another point about another ghost story that they tell around town. She's looking at the blue and the black down the alley, which is the trees and the blackness in between it. It's because it's really far away. Now, down at White Point Garden, where the battery is, they claim to see the ghosts of the hanging pirates that used to be down there. And those are the kinds of things that they think they're catching. However, what you're looking at right now is exactly what they're looking at. They're looking at, so somebody's coming out of there, you might not want to film them. But with that said, that's exactly what they're looking for. I've done plenty of walks through White Point Garden, and I have found absolutely nothing from the evidence of the hanging pirates that actually occurred there. And yes, I dove in to see if the story had any truth to it, and it does, but those ghosts are not going to hang out near the tree where they were hanged. That's just my theory. So, kind of mentality I'm sure you guys are picking up on. I look for the emotions out of places to make sure that there's going to be a raised emotion. But again, if that's where the crazy death occurred, it's normally not going to be where, that's where the person is haunting. Now, again, we're going to walk through the rest of this alley, and then we're going to... Oh, let me take a look at your word list.
I didn't know. I saw terror a little while ago when we were first talking again. And then a little bit further up, but I didn't know if it had any to do with stories.
Yeah, not down here so much, but maybe the next one. What do you got?
Still a bunch of... I'm not finding anything.
Yeah, a lot of nothing.
Yeah, pretty much.
It just went that
We
way.
just haven't come to the right place yet.
Yeah. Nico, have you gotten anything on yours while we've been here? You've been focused on me.
Is it going
Howard?
No, it's 5.
Yes.
Okay.
She has the name Howard, everybody. I just want to point that out. Yeah, That's a good one.
Okay. I think
About
that's
damn time. But we have something that's like very solid.
rocket tonight.
Well, I think he said we want to see blue and black. Because it keeps.
I wasn't even sure I heard. I was like, did I hear
A
that?
while ago, it looked like it
Oh,
shot
and
over
the
there.
my grandmother's name was Anne, by the way, which is what I was waiting for somebody else to tell me because we had the word Ukraine pop up.
Yeah.
So what I told them earlier, which you guys will obviously hear on your regular audio, is when we were back at the Pinckney Mansion site, the word Ukraine came up, which is obviously big news right now and has been for the past 6 months. But I am Ukrainian, and my grandmother loves to hang around. So I was waiting for one of you guys to have my grandmother's name pop up or something along those lines to be able to prove, like, somebody's here with me tonight. So again, she's like, oh, this probably doesn't mean anything. It's probably just the radio. I'm like, yeah, I'm Ukrainian. Like, that's a big deal. Like, that's a very big
It
deal.
might just be the radio.
Keep
Buddy.
looking at it, looking down there. I don't know.
There's some people walking by now. Do you see them?
Yep.
Yeah, but there's a blue mark. Let's see, now it's all red.
Well, if you caught a blue mark going down there,
Oh, it's all been blue. Like the whole. A while ago, everything was blue, and there's a little blue thing here that kept shooting over here, but it went back. That looked like it was moving.
part of the reason why you have the blue in there now is because you have a finger on the side right there. More than likely, this. You see the white on the lower left-hand corner? That's
On
probably
my
your
knee?
finger. Yep.
Oh no, I think I tried to keep her in it. Where you told me to keep somebody
Oh,
in it.
yeah. Okay,
I was
that is
trying
her.
to keep her in it.
Got it. And with the other camera that I use an infrared camera too. I have caught some orbs down here in the past, so it doesn't mean that they won't show up in a cold format on the camera that we're using here tonight. So if you saw something blue going back and forth, and it was, I can definitely capture it in the morning, and I always give you the still shots, so that way you guys can find it and the exact markers so you can see it in motion.
It's like that's the same one, like right there. It's like that, and then it went over here. It disappeared for a minute, and then it came back.
Keep the focus on it as we walk through the alley, so that way we can kind of see exactly what it is. It might just be a water spout up there. 'Cause
That's why, yeah. We kept looking, trying to see if we seen anything.
Yeah. Not that I'm always going to try to, say like, that's
Oh,
not
yeah.
paranormal, but I always want to make sure. I don't want to get too excited about anything. So let's go ahead and continue through the alley, and you focus on that one spot.
Sure, I'm breaking it up while I'm walking.
You might want to watch your feet a little bit.
Yeah, I
here,
know.
too. I'm trying to be extra careful because I'm probably the biggest klutz here.
Mind it still?
My hands.
You ain't let me yet. Okay, wait.
You want to cut that video as you exit.
Okay.
Cutting through a neighborhood.
Alrighty. I'm trying to see if I see the blue thingy again.
What are the last 5 letters you have?
The most recent, the oldest, A-U-N-J.
Okay, I'll explain.
Yeah.
So, welcome to Philadelphia Alley. This place used to be called Jewelers Alley. It was named Philadelphia because after dueling became illegal and stupid, we named it after a city that helped us out of one of our many fires. So just kind of giving you the basic history of that. This is a staple for Charleston ghost tours. So just know that if you've never taken a ghost tour down here, you took a weird tour because everybody comes down here. We all tell the same story, but we're going to tell it a little bit differently here just because we're ghost hunting. You guys need different details out of the story, out of the campfire cheesiness that he's doing over there. So here's how it goes. The doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She's an attorney, helping her out with all of this cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. To prove that he's not after her money, he comes down to Charleston. To prove that he's going to start his practice down here and make his own damn money. So as he's coming into town, the coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay in Charleston, but somebody was walking by and saw the whole thing and knew the coachman was going to try to kill him. His name was Ralph Isaacs. I stuck up on Ralph because Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. We often see or hear the letters R.I. Ralph Isaac's Rhode Island. We just need to know which character it belongs to because secondary verifier, like we talked about earlier. With the new Ouija board device, I'm hoping it's going to come through more often. We did get it once, I think it was 2 weeks ago, which I was super stoked for, and it came through in succession the minute we walked into the space. So I was super stoked. But anyway, back to Ralph and the doctor. Ralph tells Dr. Ladd, you don't want to stay here, man. This guy's going to try to kill you. He's got a gunman inside. I got some friends at 59 Church Street. You can stay with them, and you'll be good to go. They'll rent you a room. Dr. Ladd takes him up on the offer, and the two become friends. The longer the doctor stays in Charleston, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he's not after Amanda's money. So, Amanda's moving down soon, which that kind of changes the doctor's name a little bit. Everybody started calling him the Whistling Doctor, because he whistled all the time. It's the late 1700s. Jovial guys actually whistle. The cheesy part of the story is that you can hear the whistles through the alley as you're walking through it, but we're going to get to that. Now, keep in mind, every haunted city you're ever going to visit has a cliched whistling ghost. I can put my paycheck on it, but I actually have proof of this one. Let me continue. Him and Ralph go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. So they talk about these plays on the way home. One night after seeing Richard III from Shakespeare, they are arguing over the new actress. Dr. Ladd thought she was fantastic. Ralph, not so much. It gets pretty ugly when Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiance back home in Rhode Island. They go their separate ways. So, Ralph has friends here in Charleston at the newspaper, and he wants to put an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a disgrace to society kind of mentality. So, hi, how are you? Dr. Ladd sees this newspaper ad, and he rebuttals with, let's go to Dueler's Alley, we're going to settle this. So, they come down here. Just walked away. But anyway, so they come down here after the doctor proposes the duel, and they take their 10 paces, they turn, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He did not want to kill his friend. He just needed the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happened at a duel. Ralph has his one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Dr. Ladd doesn't die, drops to the ground, his friends pick him up, and they carry him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later. He refused medical treatment. He probably tried to bleed this bullet out himself. We have gotten the term bloodletting, we have gotten the term kneecap, we've gotten all kinds of things down here. There's a ton of clues wrapped around this. The number 59 is often heard down here. That was the address of the doctor. We also get the word Rose. Do we have the word Rose on that word list at all? The reason why is because 59 Church Street is actually known today as the Thomas Rose House. It is the only historical home in Charleston that actually has one of those placards on the front of it that tells the quick story of Dr. Ladd's life ending with a duel. So it is the only one that tells a ghost story in town. So that's kind of part of the reason why everybody likes to come down here. But again, they say as you walk through here, you can hear the whistles from the doctor. You hear how quiet it is right now that all the tours have left. It's always this quiet. Busy Saturday afternoon, this quiet. Don't know how it does it, but it does. So keep in mind, if you're going to try to do this and walk down the alley on your own without the tour guide that pisses off the end of the neighbor, turn on your voice recorders, listen to the recording later, but keep in mind every local knows the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street over here throws a whistle down the alley. We all do it. I do it every single night. So we end over there, my garage is over there, which means I have to pass the alley, and if my daughter's on the tour, we race to see who's going to throw the whistle first. So it's just kind of something we do, especially since we got moved out of here. So we are going to go up to exactly where he was standing, because I like to point out that gate. But again, this is a matter of listening to the voice recording at this point to see if there's any whistles in the background that weren't mine.
Don't want them doing nothing. No static,
That's
no
mute.
nothing. Oh.
Told me to mute it.
I was like,
This
dang.
gate right here, which is where I normally bring you guys, because he was standing in the way, this is for when there was a loser to the duel. This was the loser's gate. It was a shortcut to get to the cemetery, because the cemetery's over there. This alley didn't always come all the way through, so I'm going to explain that more in a minute, but the cemetery's right over there, which means they would have to cut through here instead of walking all the way down to the alley and around Queen Street carrying dead weight, so that way they can go celebrate the winter. The wrought iron gate wasn't always there, because that was put up probably in the late 1900s, is my guess based on the looks of it. So again, this property now belongs to the church. I'm sure it belonged to the church at that point too, because the church is very damn old. But here's how we got booted out of here. Here's the fun part of the story. This is what everybody wants to know. So this alley, like I said, didn't come all the way through. So it kind of blocked off, probably right around where that lamppost is. Those bricks down on the other side are older. Those are sun-dried bricks from slave children. So I always point out that one handprint from the slave child slavery, and I get diverse groups. I gotta show it off. However, everybody wants to try to get a reading out of it. They put in a millimeter or a spirit box or something near this damn brick. On November 26th of 2020, my entire group of 10 decided that they were going to huddle around this brick, trying to get a reading out of it. I'm trying to shoo them along because it's outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the street. Yeah. This guy came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at, and we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I didn't have a tool. I worked in retail for over 20 years, management, mostly in Walmart. You guys don't understand, I'm never working Thanksgiving again. So, I didn't have a tool. The next day after that, November 28th, yes, the dates matter, I'm getting to it. November 28th, I get a phone call asking me to go down halfway, like everybody else, because that's the cutoff line, or to reroute my group. I didn't think it was fair for my groups of 10 to 20, 10 to work around 20 to 60, like I mentioned earlier. So I decided I'm going to tell the story up there by that white building and reroute the group. Well, that night I told my group, I don't believe this story, we're about to go investigate, but we're going to see what happens. Tickets were much cheaper. I can't wing it anymore, just so you guys know. I didn't have that much equipment either, so it was a matter of like, let's just go see what happens. Before we left, somebody hears the name Anne on a spirit box. I was like, oh shit. I did not tell them we were going to be investigating Anne Bonny, the famous female pirate. We get up there, I told a little bit of crap I did know about pirates because I'm a vampire guy. I was not about pirates. I was actually kind of pissed that I was going to be telling a pirate story that night. Somebody else hears the number 300. No idea what that means. I do the research the next day. We were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th, 1720. The exact 300-year anniversary of her damn pirate trial. I read more damn books about pirates since then, trying to piece together a factual investigation for y'all based on pirate lore. It is very difficult to do. So, it is a hit or miss location of where we're going next. We're either going to have a crap ton going on or nothing going on. It will be our last stop, but we're going to be spread out like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion site, only with a little bit more diversity of where we can actually go. We got
This is the closest thing to any, like, billowhack. Isn't that an actual, it might not be spelled correctly, but for some reason, like, billowhack comes to mind. HIDIL. But I don't know if any of that means anything.
I'll see like hillbilly in there.
But it's the least jumbled of all of them.
But I also see like letters from this millennial. What do you think that would be?
Like, dealing with the military, like, or am I thinking bivouac?
Anybody know what the word bivouac means?
I don't know if it's supposed to be like a time of leave from military service or like time off. For some reason, that's what comes to mind. I don't know if that's at all correct.
The only reason I asked, like, why I was even curious is because there have been terms that have shown up here in the past that I didn't know what they meant, but they were two terms from two different spirit boxes, but they were parts of a dueling pistol. I'm not a gun person. I had the word brass pan show up one night, and apparently that was relative to the time frame of the dueling pistols that would have been used during Ralph and the Doctor's duel. So it's kind of like, is this another gun thing that I might have to dive into?
Something that I'm
okay. Because Ralph was an attorney. You know, obviously Doctor was a doctor. So I don't know that anything military would be relevant to even the next spaces that we're going to. And even coming out of Lodge Alley, like most of those people were pretty poor. They were either coopers or fishermen or something of that sort. So I don't see anybody in there being from the military. Do you have any other term?
Well, I mean, when it comes to duels, I kind of think of it as
yeah, kind of.
Other than that, foreign.
I'm probably still most excited right now about the name Howard, which is very interesting because it's not going to come out of a person that you think it's going to come out of. So it's very interesting that you have something. All right, so Missy, you can devices. We'll do that. Otherwise, I'll take us to the back of the area and let the other tours pass through. It just depends on. You guys showed up really early, so I don't know like where. And I don't time this. It's just a matter of like whatever happens, happens. Like we could be out here for almost 3 hours. My wife's texting me going, "What's going on? Are you okay? You've been in the same space for," and I've done it. Like you guys laugh, but it's happened. We had great nights where it's like, oh, shit, look at this stuff coming through. But there's been nights I've been out here almost 3 hours with a group of 10. It does happen. But I don't know like what the other tours do. Like I've never seen that bulldog tour guide before. I'm like, oh, who the hell is that guy? They don't carry flashlights. What are you, sissy? Let's go. You know, we're out here looking for stuff on a camera. You got a flashlight. Screwing up our gear, man. But anyway, I hate to make fun of the tour groups. I'm sorry, but again, they're not big fans of me either, so I take a lot of their business. So since I started this 3 years ago, yeah, I'm not really well liked. We'll just put it out there. Have you heard anything crazy before we move on?
No.
Have you? I don't expect any numbers down here. Have you gotten anything? Do you have the word hold on there by chance? On your red screen? Red screen.
Oh, no.
Okay, just want to make sure. Sometimes you guys accidentally tap the front buttons and it'll put it on hold, which means it's not going to move at all. So,
I don't know. I don't have my glasses
okay.
on, so I can't see
You
what.
do have the word record, which I tried figuring out how this thing records, and I couldn't figure it out. And I'm really savvy with this equipment, so for this thing to be that complicated, for me to be able to record data, I'm like, I'll just write the damn numbers down myself. It's so much easier. All right, let's go learn about crazy pirates and who the hell Howard is. Comes with a happy song, doesn't it?
Yes.
We're going to hunt some ghosts.
Sounds like a here we come to save the day.
They used to store gunpowder in there.
What?
Gunpowder, they used to store in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Stephen, what was this?
Oh.
Sweet. Here's where I look to look. Because there's the parking garage.
That name pops up on the machine often. And I look into it with every space it shows up in, and I still can't find it high. So, alright, so we are going to talk about Sue first. So, you guys can have a seat here if you want, kind of chill for a few before I put you all back to work again.
Her and her white
Don't,
paint. You want to
there's
sit on
no
my
poles
lap?
over here. I moved the cone so you wouldn't run into it.
Do you want to sit on my lap?
I'm good.
So, here's where things get interesting. Here's where I get excited. It's probably the most prominent thing we've had all night long. You worried about the white pants?
Yep.
I was wondering, like, why is she standing staring at me?
That's why I asked her if she wants to sit on my lap.
There are two different sides to St. Philip's Cemetery. So the eastern side, which is across the street, is for native Charlestonians only. So if you're from Charleston and you belong to the church, you can get buried over there. Charles Pinckney, the husband, and Charles Pinckney, the nephew, are both buried across the street because they're from here. Your 7th Vice President, John Calhoun, is buried on the other side of that ivy wall, the western side, because he's not from here. He actually just lived here a very long time. So I think he was born in Colombia or something. I don't know the exact specifics, but during the month of March, we get a lot of activity around him because he was born in March, he died in March. So it's just a matter of how that one goes. But every tour ends over at St. Philip's eastern side because there's a sign over there. The sign is put up there from the church, and it reads, "There's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost." There's a reason for it. 1888, a young lady by the name of Sue Howard Hardy dies very abruptly. And what's funny is we talked about initials already. So with Ralph Isaacs, initials mean something, especially with Sue, because she loves to give us her initials. It's cheesy, it's campy, I hate telling you. Sue Howard Hardy. I hate it, but we do get it all the time. I told you all teenagers put both ears in. Somebody will pull one out real quick as I'm telling the story and say, somebody just shished me. I'm like, and we all laugh because they didn't know that Sue's initials come up all the time. So, and it does show up on your word list too, by the way.
Oh, good.
Yep, all the time. I can't tell you how many times I've seen it. But anyway, she dies 6 days after her stillborn child. Very abrupt ending. But a local photographer in 1987, 99 years later, he's going to take pictures of all of our beautiful cemeteries. And he captures a full apparition in one of those photographs. This is the reason why I let all the other tour guides go over there. It's their one show and tell. So again, you guys have the show and tell in your hands. But the apparition is 1987. He doesn't know what to do with this picture because he doesn't have the tech that we have now. So he sends it to Kodak, and I don't have to explain what Kodak is. So yeah, the teenagers no clue. They think it's a bear, by the way, just so you all know. Yeah.
Kind of close.
Yeah. Just missing a letter. Not a big deal.
Just a little. And a bunch of teeth. Yeah, exactly.
So Kodak doesn't know what to do with the photograph either. So for guys like me, this photograph is gold. I am going to show it to you, but it is cursed to females. Our entire party tonight is female except for me. Don't touch the damn tablet. Here's how this goes. Females that handle it, even in the digital format, are going to said to have the same symptoms like what we already talked about: the headache, the nausea, the dizziness, that kind of mentality. Pregnant females are probably not going to have a good pregnancy based on the gist of the stillborn child in the story. I'm not going to be the guy where somebody had a great honeymoon vacation, whatever, and 9 months later I cursed their damn family because they decided they wanted to zoom in on my tablet further. It happens. I'm like, no, stop touching my damn tablet. But again, I'm going to show you the picture just so in case you take another ghost tour, don't take it from somebody else, because a lot of the other tour guides like to just hand out a tablet and show it around. Like, yeah, what the hell do you guys do? Like, you're not supposed to be. Obviously, this is what I do for a living. Like, I take this very seriously. So, here's the full picture. I'll do a 2x2 so you guys can all see it. The apparition is right here. You're looking at Sue, which is she's praying over her own grave, and there's a baby basket next to her. This is probably another instance where the baby is buried with mom. There are no records that I can find from the church of the birth or death of this child. So, again, I've dug, because I know how to research and dig and get to the records. Full picture. The apparition is right here, looking at a woman bent over her own grave, and with the baby basket next to her. Even when you zoom in closer on the baby basket, say on a computer, you can see the weaving on the basket. Like, it's pretty clear. So this is like one of those pictures like you would see on a website that talks about great apparitions caught from ghosts. Like, this is one of those pieces, which is why every ghost tour talks about it. I'm like a 50-50 with it. If we get something clue around it, obviously I'll talk about it. And of course, if it seems like we kind of didn't spend enough time in other spaces, I'll talk about it, that kind of mentality. But we have a direct clue of the name Howard. So I'm stoked about that, and we were right in line with where her grave would have been, like a direct line, like 1 block away. So that's why I'm even calling that relevant. So that's actually the reason why they all go up there. So move this over here so you guys can have the full pirate story on your audio. So here's what we're doing now. This space is the Gunpowder magazine. So that's the building that we walked up to, and it's right behind you. So those are not crosses on the building. Did you guys notice the big T's on there? Those are earthquake bolts. So, yeah, earthquake bolts, if you're unfamiliar with them, basically they're turnbuckles. So if we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886 that I mentioned at the top, you can turn them, and it's supposed to straighten the building back up again. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. So the reason I bring these ones up is because this is the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston put in, because this is the oldest government building we have in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. Now, we're here because this is what I call a familiar. Anne Bonny came to Charleston at the same time that this building was being constructed. We don't have many buildings this old that she would actually recognize. So Anne is said to be seen all over town, but again, restrictions on residential areas. Kind of keep that in the back of your brains. Do we capture evidence here? Not every night, but yes, it is very substantial. Here's how this story goes. It's a little crazy, by the way, and it's got a lot of twists and turns, so try to follow me. The building took 10 years to build. So does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? 1708 is where the story begins. A young lady named Anne Cormack moves here from Ireland. She's with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. You guys with me so far? Okay. The three of them are running away from his angry wife. Like, how pissed was she that she got to leave Ireland to come here? Like, just you all agree, like, yeah, I can see that. That's a good thing. So they land in Georgetown, which is just between us and Myrtle Beach. Dad bought a plantation. Mom died pretty quickly. That means he has to send young Anne down here to sell anything from the plantation to keep things afloat. So Anne back home in Ireland was kind of a badass chick. They say she killed one of her servants when she was like 7, 8, 9 years old with a knife to the belly. Just putting that mentality of her in the back of your brains as we go through her history. Fast forward, the building was finished in 1713. Pirates are coming through town in 1715. Anne's stoked because she wants her freedom, just like a man. She's of age. So, first guy she falls in love with, yes, I said first, because there's a handful. We're going to go through all of them. First guy is James Bonny. You already see where this one's going, because we mentioned her full name. Dad didn't approve, because he's a filthy pirate. They eloped to Jamaica. We now have Anne Bonny, your famous female pirate. However, this guy is not Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for when she got down there. This guy is a privateer. He's a spy for the British. He's a coward in her eyes. This is not who she wants. A few years later, she falls in love again. This is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. This is literally the person they based your Captain Jack Sparrow character off of. So he is the Captain Jack Sparrow she was hoping for, and he has his own ship. And wants to be part of that ship. Can't put a girl on the crew. Does anybody know why? Bad luck.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, a lot of people go rape. I'm like, no, let's keep it a PG-13 at least. But with that being said, he makes a deal with her. If you want to be part of the pirate crew, you're going to dress like the crew to hide your gender. So she's got to dress like a guy, but she's going to be a female in his quarters. She's okay with this cross-dressing bit because Dad used to, hide her as a boy back home in Ireland to keep her away from his wife. So she's like, whatever, it's a man's world, let's do it. But we're all adults, put two and two together. She's a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. And they're all going to go jack off the ship. So he drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby over here. These are friends of mine. They'll help you with the pregnancy, the birthing, the whole nine. Come back later, we'll figure it out. She has the baby. He returns with no baby. We have no idea what happened to this child. I told you I did a shit ton of research on this. Can't find anything about this child. But she returns dressed as a female, which makes Jack pretty angry. He captured another pirate crew while she was away. They're down below deck, all handcuffed up. She's going to go flirting with this crew to make him even more mad, because that's who Anne is. We're on guy number 3, in case you guys lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females, dressed like males, on the same ship, trying to be pirates. Her name was Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary become friends, possibly lovers. We're never going to know for sure, but the LGBTQ community loves this story, by the way. But they become friends. The British find out where they are. They send an entire fleet of ships to take down one pirate ship. Anne and Mary are the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with their 1-bullet flintlocks, probably because they don't know how to use the cannons yet. So they're up there fighting away with their 1-bullet flintlocks, and obviously they're going to get taken trying to take on a whole fleet of ships. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain, her beau, who she's been fighting with, and says, "You should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up here a lot, just so you all know, on different types of spirit boxes. So, the judge, his name is Nick. You guys hear my name? It's not me, it's him. He wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly by themselves. He's already tried to hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't come up and fight, so they're dead and gone, 2 days prior. 2 ladies go in front, they reveal their gender. He doesn't give a shit that they're female. He's still gonna hang them. They're still pirates. So, we plead our bellies, was the last thing they screamed out, because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still here in Charlestown area with all of his Irish money because he was an attorney back home. He bails out and brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary, we don't know, has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Yes, very abrupt, because we don't know much about her life after her pirate career. As far as Mary Reed goes, she was also arrested and tried for piracy, but she died a year later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. I'm sure it was nasty, gross, and scurrilous, and whatever else you want to come up with. Unfortunately, I have to tell this story 7 nights a week, so I have to think about it every single night, how nasty this woman went through it. 2 things I left out. You all know what you do in your spirit boxes by now, but it's not going to be the Pinky Mansion site where I assign questions. I only left out 2 things that we can actually prove. The rest of it is open game. Ask whatever the hell you want to. The name of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father and the mistress. I also left out the name of Calico Jack's ship. So if you want to find out what that is, just kind of giving you a lead into some questions to ask for your spirit boxes. As far as this device, you're not going to see a whole lot of numbers unless we're like in the corners of the lot because of the big electrical poles. It's about turning that little white button back on and asking Anne her hair color. It is red, and this is the one spot where I've gotten a direct answer of red. So I was asking another spirit box, the red one actually, 2 people that were standing next to each other. I'm like, Anne, tell us what your hair color was, and we got a red directly. So I was like, all right, might be an anomaly. Let's move out of the space. We did it again. Same answer. It's the only time I've ever seen it. So take that for what it's worth.
Okay.
Before I have you guys spread out, because you can go into the front of the powder magazine, just don't interrupt the other tours to get some footage, or you can go over and see the sign at St. Philip's if you'd like, and get some footage over there. Or if you just want to go put a spirit box near things, just don't be in the way of the other tours. So I'm actually going to sit and chill right here and then start bouncing around with you, letting you guys work, because I'm not going to hover you like I did at the Pinckney Mansion site. But there's another reason why I gave that heated warning at the very top. My head is pounding, by the way, which didn't start until we got here, which is a very weird thing. Here's why. Back since September of last year, about a year ago, I brought my team back here, a nice cool night like this. The kid next to me, we were actually in the back of the lot. He goes white as a ghost, literally. He's dropping like a wet noodle. I gotta pick him up by his armpit to save him from hitting his head on the ground. So his boyfriend picks him up from the other side, and we get him over here to this wall. We get him a bottle of water. He's feeling better. I then tell the story about Anne Bonny that you guys now know. It's important to know that they don't know the story yet. I spread everybody out with their devices. It's our last stop. Go have some fun. Let me know what you guys find. They pull me aside and say, Nick, we are 2 transgender males, meaning I had 2 females dressed as males, just like Anne and Mary in the story, and it made sense as to why one of them passed out the minute we got into the space. These are the weird things that I see all the time. I have had people say they've had heart palpitations in this area, so kind of keep that in mind. And I don't walk you very hard. We only went half a mile, but I will tell you I've been getting headaches more and more as the season's been changing over into fall. So I wouldn't count it as anything yet, but I will tell you, like, my head is pounding pretty good right now. I'm going to sit here and kind of chill with my water for a few and kind of see how that goes. But you guys, go venture out, have some fun. Everyone's going to stare at you because you have weird gizmos and blinky lights. But again, they're just jealous because they overpaid for a storyteller. Did I say that out loud again? So, have you heard anything? Did we see anything? What do we got going on before I have you guys spread out?
You were talking about what happened to the other guys, medical coming out, but that's about it.
We're still near Philadelphia Alley with the doctor.
True, that's true.
Bleed over.
Mortality and mortality for that in medical.
Mortality of the medical doctor, because he did die. We'll take that. It's a stretch with the word mortality in there, but I'm definitely taking medical as something relative to the doctor because you see it all the time. Yeah, you want to definitely hit that white button in the back because this is a place where you're not going to pay attention so much to the numbers as you are the colors that are going to come through. You still didn't get it. Remember, you got to click it into place. Anything crazy coming up with your camera? Because your camera likes to act up in here too, by the way. You'll get some white lines going across the screen that aren't supposed to be there. Almost like it looks like an old TV set, kind of static kind of thing. I've seen that in the past here.
Not while I've been looking at it, other than looking
I know
at
you were
you.
watching pretty intently,
Yeah.
so it's good. Anything heard on your end? Yes, Roger. Here's why. So Calico Jack, he was also dubbed with creating the Skull and Crossbones flag that was originally meant for the Jolly Roger. The word Roger is actually heard quite often here, but it wasn't Skull and Crossbones, it was Skull and Cross Swords. So again, you'll get that link, obviously, so you guys will be able to see the original flag that he created. Yeah, I'm excited about Roger. You're on top of it. You need a job. So, but yeah, spread out, have some fun in here. Keep in mind there's vehicles, other tours, and that kind of thing. I'm stoked about Roger and Howard. So far those are our two big key ones so far.
How about the name Carter?
No. So if you're going to go check out the front of the powder magazine, you have to exit the lot. So there's on the other side of this, like where we came in, you would just go down in front, and there is a big giant gate in the lawn, so you can't go up to it. But you definitely can get some footage up there if you'd like. They actually used to run investigations like what we're doing here, very minimal, like what you guys went through at the jail, with like some laser lights and EMF and a small spirit box. I don't know whatever happened to that tour or whatever, but apparently that was years and years ago. And they would only investigate this space only. So I was like, well, there must be something to it if they were getting that much. So after I got the Ian and the 300, that's when I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to be a pirate guy forever. Because I live in Charleston, and that's just how things go.
Drink right there.
Yeah.
I think he said with this probably gonna go off.
Oh, yeah.
I muted this thing.
That's not good. Look at my shit.
There's a toy over there too. Look at that. What you get?
This? I keep swaying back with you. Was that Paradise City by Guns N' Roses?
Heard list. Probably told me to go out and look. Now, I remember that from the tour on the carriage ride. They said that's where they stored the gun.
But you can see how old it is. See, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Why do you tell me ask this thing?
What color is and what color is your hair?
Stick it through there and you get a better
Gosh.
picture. I did
You
last
scared the
night.
shit out of me. I thought one got me.
No, there's no ghosts here. They're just everywhere.
Yeah. Did you hear anything else?
List and kept saying water. It's the word water come out. List and water.
Pirates? Water?
Yep.
That's sweet.
It's not that kind of powder.
I don't think you know.
Here's where they what? Where they put them. Is that where they like, put your hands in it there and then chop your head off?
Walk. List, walk, water.
What do we have?
List, walk, and water.
We'll get a lot of aquatic terms here. So water, wave, tide. We'll get a lot of those type of terms here. What's funny is they don't normally show up on that one. They'll show up on the word list. List, walk, water. Any craziness on your camera? Again, a lot of that is caught in real time.
Right.
If we're not recording, we won't be able to watch it later on. So, but you did a lot of recording for us tonight, so you guys will have a good amount. I guess probably about an hour and 20 minutes total. I keep an eye on how long you guys do things, so that way I have a gist of how much data you're going to get back.
There is every once in a while there are some lines going up it.
Okay. Yeah, this is a weird space. So one night, year and a half ago now, I brought my team to that corner over there, and it was a small group, 2 people. It was a cold night. One person was using that camera, another person was using that red spirit box that Nico has, and they're filming me and that person using the spirit box. That camera goes into a bunch of white lines just over the person with the spirit box, and then the spirit box quit working. So we left that space, and it immediately started working again. Like, right back to the record session, which was weird for me because you have to hit 4 buttons to get to that thing to record with the speaker. Like, it was already back on, and there was no glitch in the recording. Like, I didn't have to splice anything together. It was all there in one piece. Like, the next day, I was like, what the hell just happened? It was the weirdest thing.
That's crazy. When I was at Waverly, we, it was like 10 of us all together, but me and my boyfriend had split off and went to the bathroom. We came back and nobody was on the first floor. So we heard a voice in the stairwell, and I thought it was my sister-in-law. So we walked up to the second floor, walked the whole floor. They wasn't there. So we were standing there debating on where to go, and we're like standing shoulder to shoulder, and all of a sudden we both jumped because it was like right in between us. Like somebody was beside us, like taking this breath. Like freaked us out.
Did you guys have the recorder going?
Yes. Had that going, and we got a lot of stuff. It was really neat. I want to go back.
I'm sure you've noticed by now, like just with the spaces I took you, I don't like going to places that are already dubbed as haunted. Like, again, it's to me, it's been done. If it's been on TV, you know, I'm like,
right.
Okay, cool. I learned something about a mental hospital, or, you know what I mean, like what to look for in those open, cavernous places.
Right.
But I like to go to those places that aren't deemed haunted. Like, I go visit museums all the time when I'm on vacation, down here. I just have shit running on me, and I look into it later. Ghosts don't give a shit if it's day or night.
Right.
So,
I like the history of the stories you tell.
No,
I love
thanks.
that.
When I designed this, I didn't want it to be a jump scare type thing. I also
Right.
didn't want it to be cheesy, because I'm not a cheesy person. So I was like, I'm going to get history buffs. I'm going to get paranormal people. So when I put it together, it was like, how can I show these people that ghost hunting isn't as scary as what they make it out to be on TV, but still make it fun? And that was like, keep adding more gear. I was talking to you guys, like all my guests, and asking them like what they wanted to use and what pieces of equipment. And I think we've got a pretty solid kit now based on, like, I can accommodate 11 people if I had to, and everybody has a job. Like, they're all different. The only multiple thing I have is I have 2 of those red spirit boxes just because I love them. Like, they're easy to use, they're easy to teach how to use, but I have another camera in there. It's a crazy, like, Ghostbuster looking gadget. There's laser grids that go along with it. Other types of spirit boxes, digital cameras, K2 meters. Like, I can accommodate 11 people based on different age groups.
Boy and valuable.
Boy?
Boy. Valuable.
He's getting the hang of it.
Mm-hmm.
Whose idea was this? Was this your idea to come out and do this?
Her and her
Really?
husband's done it before.
Okay.
This is my first time ever being
We
here.
actually booked with you last year.
What's that?
We were going to do this with you last year, me and my husband,
Yeah.
or this year. And it rained, so we had to cancel.
Why didn't you just text me? I would have given you a discount.
Well, we were just here for like 2 nights,
Yeah.
and so we
Yeah, but why didn't you call me for this booking?
Huh?
Why didn't you call me for this booking? I
Oh,
would
I
have given
don't
you
know.
the rain check.
My husband, he booked it for us.
Okay. Yeah, whenever I have to cancel due to rain, I always give a rain check discount. So we're the husbands now.
Home.
Mine's on
We
the
left
babysitting. We planned this, about a year ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I moved to Indiana, so I actually live in Indiana now. So we're like 6 hours away from each other. So
Gotcha.
Yep.
I'm originally from
sucks.
Ohio. Like, I don't have a southern accent. I'm sure you guys picked up on that too.
I'm from eastern Kentucky, in the mountains and the hollers, and I've lived in Tennessee the last 8 years. And my
I'm
husband
from
made me go
Indiana.
to Indiana. Sucks.
I moved from Indiana to Tennessee, and she moved from Tennessee to Indiana.
Wow.
I hate it.
Uh-oh.
Did you say don't tell Nico in case she hears it?
Charles.
She just heard it.
Oh wow.
Nico.
Lots of chatter. This is the only lot you've really heard words in.
Yeah.
So the second night I was using that spirit box, because that's relatively new too. I've only had it 4 or 5 months. Guys handed it back to me to pack up. The word pirate came through, loud as day. Like pirate, like not part of a sentence, just a statement.
Just pirate.
I'm like, are you shitting me right now?
That's crazy.
The cool thing is, the person was still videotaping. So we had the audio piece, and everybody heard it, because everybody got quiet. It was actually a pretty light night until that pirate thing occurred. I'm like, are you shitting me? It's gonna come up
crazy.
now? What else have you heard?
Charles,
And?
Walter.
I don't know who the hell Walter is.
I have Jen and I have Nat. Either of those could, I guess, be kind of pirates, but that's about it. Yeah. And then when I was in front of the pottery, it was challenge. The word challenge came up. We didn't know if we were like close enough to the
The
alley.
duel. Yep.
Well, I was gonna say the reason I told you to ask him is because after you walked away, I heard the word challenge.
So, compete, competitor, challenge.
Challenge, impress.
We had that ad in the
Finish.
newspaper.
Oh yeah.
Admin.
That's how Ralph
Oh,
pissed off
that's
the
right.
doctor.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, she should have seen her face when I went. Charles, and she went.
And I was like,
"What?"
I said, stay here in case I remembered the wrong name. Let me check with him first.
Nope, I told you it'd probably come up, didn't I?
That was fun.
Aren't you guys glad you're not hanging out with her?
Uh-huh.
Crazy flashlight lady.
Very loud.
I was gonna say the only place I
Flashlight
think
lady.
I've ever used the flashlight was in the jail because I didn't want to fall downstairs. We did use a flashlight in the
Come
jail.
on in, Dana. We're gonna wrap this up.
She's
working.
intently
I
listening.
know.
She hears it.
She's getting a few things here.
Yeah, because I heard her react to something.
She's getting a couple.
Well, she's all in it now.
I know, right? Wow, that's a bright flashlight she has going on over there.
Great for
Well, what do you got now? You were focused.
It just said the word home.
I don't suppose you got the word Ireland in there anywhere, do you?
Ireland.
Or the word cork?
Here, I'll hold your phone.
I was looking at those
She's
pictures.
from Cork, Ireland.
No, I don't remember seeing either of those.
Do I withhold shit?
Well, that way you're not putting that thought.
Yep, that's why I do it. It's exactly why I hold so much back. That way there's not a preemptive like, oh, I heard Jack, I heard Jack, I heard Jack. You know, it's
I mean, that's what magicians do. You know, they sort of
right.
lead you
Mm-hmm.
in the direction they want you to go. So.
You're getting some weird color, but I think most of it was from your emotion. Like, I don't think there was anything supernatural about it. Alright, let's head over to the wall, since there's nothing really other, like, I'm super stoked about, other than the name Charles coming through. If you are tired of holding your gadget, you can just set it right there on top of the bag.